cuts forward for Osgood. And he's got it through, and he has! Yes, Peter Osgood! There as Marsh and Bearsave congratulate each other. Now for Brooking, he first time! What a monumental save by Peter Shilton. Eddie Gray. Oh, good footwork by Gray, still going. Oh, what a lovely goal! It might come to Lineker. And that ace goal poacher pounces again.
Welcome to Soccer in the 70s. We've another half an hour of great action coming up. In a moment, I'll be talking to three men with special memories of the 75-76 season.
It's played short this time by Callaghan. Flicked across there first time. Oh, it's even a wonderful goal. That completely caught Spurs out. The corner quickly taken.
My guests this week are David Webb, John Hollins and Peter Osgood. 75-76 was a memorable season for Southampton. What do you remember about that cup run?
Well, it was remarkable, really, because you know, we're a second division side, obviously. We had some old players. I mean, the first one I remember is Peter Rodriguez coming down to the club, and obviously had a free transfer from Leicester. And Laurie sort of revitalised his career, really, and gave him a 2-year contract, and he led us to Wembley. I mean, he was a great sort of part in the run-up to Wembley. Then we had guys like Jimmy McCalliog, and myself, and Shannon, who was really old campaigners, really, if you like. And I think our name was on the cup, Gary. You always know. I think you know, your name was on the cup, and the results went for us. And obviously playing the semi-final at Stamford Bridge was absolutely a bonus for me as well, and Jimmy McCalliog, because we'd been there many times before. And
Home from home.
yes, it's always a lovely feeling when you know you're going there. The semi-final is the big game, really, to be honest. I mean, the final you go along to enjoy yourself and obviously try and win the cup. But you know, it was a lovely feeling for me. I mean, it was just like going back to sort of saluting the shed, really, because I had 12 fantastic years there, and I was one of their favourites. I was pleased to say, because they can be very critical down there at Chelsea. But I was one of their favourites, and it was nice, and it just brought back old memories of being at a club for 12 years, and also going back and winning the semi-final. It was really a fitting sort of time for me. Really. It was lovely.
In the final?
Well, the final, we walked out, and when we sort of walked up the tunnel, obviously it was fantastic. I've been there before with Chelsea in 1970, but walking up the tunnel, we looked at Manchester United players, and they seemed to have froze. Our lads were just pleased to be there, let's be fair. Second division underdogs, 6-1 underdogs. And we went there to enjoy ourselves, and that's what we did, and the result sort of paid off for us, really.
Shannon, nice touch again. Callaghan. Oh, look at this. Bobby Stokes. Hit well. Oh, it's there! Stokes has put Southampton in the lead. A great break there for Southampton. And they're all off that Southampton bench. Bobby Stokes, only 5'7" of him.
John, you signed for QPR pre-season. What prompted that move?
It was at a time where Chelsea were new stand at that time, I think, and changing things round, and new players, new manager. Eddie McCready had taken over. Didn't see me as part of the plans. Butch Wilkins coming through, various Clive Walker, other youngsters coming through, and said, well, you know, we can sell you on. And Dave Sexton came in, went to QPR, and really it was like F Troop, all the old guys there. I think I was the youngest. But from going from one club, which was always built around young players, to a side that was relatively, they were all internationals, and from day one, from being there, I mean, Frank McClintock, Dave Clement, Phil Parks, Bowles, Masson, Givens, Thomas, there was a hell of a lot of experience, and from there, You know, it sort of it was a good platform to
Very
work from.
successful season, finishing runners up to
It was the
who else but Liverpool?
Closest. It is the closest I've ever been.
Stan Bowles has been behind the kickers, organising that Rangers wall. Saunis with a shot right through there, and it's there by Bosma. Clement. Now Francis. Clement again. Down he goes, penalty. So a skipper's responsibility for Gerry Francis against Jim Platt. And he's got it. 1-1. It's people like Hollins and Gillard and Clement who've got to come forward, otherwise they're always going to be outnumbered. But here's Gibbons. Yes! Oh, a nice dummy there by Gibbons. On for Bowles. Bowles has gone through to the middle as well. And he almost got there. And he might still get there. Francis hammering it in. That's number 3. Masson. Bowles. Still Bowles. Will this be the 4th? Yes! Stanley Bowles.
Stan did not live up to all the things that were said about him. He appeared to be a nightclub man and out and about. Very good trainer. Didn't really drink excessively, if that was the sort of era then in the 70s. Good worker. And if you kept his interest, and you had to respect his interest, which Dave did at that time, and managed. He got players around him, which, you know, we had the right blend. We all wanted to win, but we all wanted to play.
I think what you've got to also understand, I mean, there was a hell of a lot of nice men. Stan Bowles was one of the nicest people you could ever wish to meet. He might have been skint a few times, but he was one of the nicest people you could ever meet.
Gambler.
But he would give you his last 50 pence. And he did that once to my little girl. He gave her his last 50 pence, which he'd say he'd borrowed off of Don Shanks to catch a train. And I gave him a lift to Park Royal Station, and he actually got off and found the lift. And he gave it to my daughter for, you know, I mean, that's the sort of man he was. He was a marvellous person, and when he got on the pitch, he used to just come out on the pitch, he'd say, "They're my audience out there." Before he used to go on a game, he used to say, "There's my audience." He was like an entertainer, and he really did mean that. He went out on the pitch, and he went there to entertain. He went there to win matches, but he went there to entertain, and he was a lovely character. And I think that the people like him and Peter and Frank Worthington and God bless yourself, all these, they have a rapport with supporters. Now, that's what it's about. If you can get that rapport, you actually give them what they want. And if you give them what they want, they're responsive to you, then it carries on, it flows.
Probably the fastest of all, and Bowles onside. Siddle's come roaring out of his goal. Now, what will Bowles do? Onto the left foot, he'll hope. No, onto the right foot. That's there, that's 2, and that's Bowles. That's got every man off his seat.
So we're going on, and Rangers are at 10 men as the free kick's taken, and Bowles takes the shot now, and he gets the equaliser. There it is, 1-1. 15 minutes into the second half, and Stan Bowles, a very happy number 10. And Thomas absolutely streaking up for Rangers. Over the side is Bowles. Has he seen him? He has. He can't miss it, surely. He didn't. What a glorious move out.
Room for Clive Allen. No one picked him up there. Can he get a return from Bowles? Hill has gone forward. Bowles with a bit of room here. Bowles a chip. Oh, it's a good goal.
He was the winner for us in matches, as we've seen, that we looked like losing or drawing, which were vital. But on 2 points then were the winning bonus. Stan would just turn it with a little bit of magic.
And a penalty. Bowles brought down by Story. Penalty given. Bowles against Rimmer. And a chance for Rangers to go 2-1 into the lead. And he's done it.
Just that little bit of magic, that rebel, that entertainer, where you can't usually play with them, but we did in this case.
come through to Marsh. Oh, look at that for skill by Marsh! Oh, and what a goal! To the Costa and Marsh! Marsh. Good shot.
Hutchinson is up in the area. Good work, Hudson. There's Hutchinson, it's in. Great goal by Hudson.
Got your mother in the world. She's not sure if you're a boy or a girl. Hey, babe, your hair's all right. Hey, babe, let's go out tonight. You like me, and I like
Hudson away. Rob Donaghy. Pause. Back for Hudson. Too much. He did it. If McRae, it did not seem possible that he could squeeze that ball past Keith McRae, but he did. That's what the Stoke fans think about it. George Best sold 2 dummies and now has made a chance for himself. His hat-trick! Trying to set up the best. Oh, yes, indeed. How about that fella? What a great goal, George Best, and the exact sort of goal that you expect George Best to score. Best, and there it is, George Best, 3-2, and Manchester United's comeback is complete.
Hey, babe, your hair's all right.
George. Oh, my word.
You like me and I like it all. We like dancing and we love
Charlie George! Oh, and he's done it on the stroke of half-time. Charlie George.
Curry. Oh my goodness! And Tony Curry milks the applause that is so deserved.
Rebel, rebel, your face is a mess.
Tony Curry. Letting one fly, and a beautiful goal! Tony Curry, a superb goal!
Peter, you're a rebel entertainer. Call it what you like. How do you feel about it at that time? Did you just go out to enjoy the game? Do you think that's the difference?
Yes, I did. I enjoyed my living. I enjoyed my job. I was probably one of the worst trainers in the world when it was just out and out running.
No.
But put the football in the game. Put the football in, and I'd take him on. I'd take Ronnie Harris. I'd take the two of them on, and there'd be no problem. In them days, we were called. They were sort of. Everybody thought we're not a luxury player because I mean. We were, as John says, we were the players. We needed guys like yourselves who had 100% players. We weren't 100% players. I wasn't 100% player. I needed you guys, as John said, to win the ball and do this sort of thing for us. Do you think that our style, we could get in a team today?
Yes, I do believe that. I really do believe that. I think that the sad thing is that the game in itself hasn't changed that much. It's just that the people's will to win has got so great, whichever way it is. I mean, society's got that way. I mean, I don't want to get into politics, but we have become like that. You know, if you're a winner, then you're the person that's clever. But, you know, there are a lot of people around who can't be winners.
I think there are players around, Paul Gascoigne, John Barnes, Peter Beers. I still think they are around, but perhaps not quite in the abundance of the 70s.
But I also think that the emphasis has changed, that I want to see that magic every minute or every week. Let's, for instance, say Paul Gascoigne. If I'm going to, as a manager, I'll sacrifice a player to say, right, I don't want him to move. I don't care what you do, but he doesn't play. And that's one of the things they do. And they just say, well, you know, Wimbledon always did very well against Newcastle because Jones used to follow him everywhere around the pitch.
Did that not happen in the 70s?
Up to a point, but then we had other...
Chopper used to follow
But I
you.
think, as you say, yeah, he followed me once. But I think, as you say, the amount of players that are around that can achieve that, the emphasis now is Barnes doesn't play well for England, but there are 10 other players in the team that are supposed to play well, does that mean because they lost because John Barnes didn't create magic?
Yeah.
And I think that, yes, there is lack of those. We had an abundance of players in the 70s. Every team had one.
Right, but can you see, John, just saying, can you see like a Sheffield United or a Wimbledon having one of those sort of players? They can't afford to have one of those players.
And now Gillard. Marsh was calling for it, and a slip there allows Marsh to go in! A goal by Marsh! What a goal! Buchan with the free kick. Morgan infield for Best. There's one on here. And it's in the back of the net. George Best, 1-0. What a simple goal, but the magic of that right foot of George Best.
So how do we encourage entertainers like we had in the 70s back into the game?
Well, obviously the coaches have got to encourage them, Gary. I mean, you've got to sort of get individual players in the sides, like as we've been talking about early on, like the Stan Bowles and your Currys. You've got to try and look for these sort of players. Whereas people now, if a player is a good passer and he doesn't work very hard, and I mean, he doesn't, you know, graft around 100% like they do these days, then obviously he doesn't get in the side. And they work into systems all the time. And in them days, they used to carry a player, really, but they knew he could do 5 minutes magic, and he could win the game for them. And I don't think there's many players around like this time. I don't know what John feels about that.
Possibly, if we go back to, say, the schoolboy element of it all, where I saw the England schoolboys this year, and there was a hell of a lot of talent in that side. But from there into that next section, when they leave the school and then they go into the next section, which is, say, 16 to 18, something gets lost in between that time. I think it should be a little bit freer. Wrong word to say, but if you said that the emphasis wasn't on the winning of competitions, i.e. the Southern Junior Floodlit Cup and all the other leagues and various other things, but just on understanding the game and playing and freedom and how to play, that I think might enhance it to be a little bit freer when they come. The Italians, and you might be able to answer this better than me, but the Italians and Spanish, when they come to the big occasion, say they've come through the youth section and into the next section, they seem to have that confidence on the ball, that calmness on the ball, which we feel we seem to be wanting to get rid of it as quick as we've got it. And I don't know whether that's because the pace of the game and because we're always being, you know, people are right on top of us immediately, but surely when the good sides, Liverpool seem to have that feeling, when you are playing as a team, Tottenham, you are playing at your best, they can't get near you. And you all seem to be very, very confident on the ball. That is the situation I think they want, that it's confidence on the ball, and having the ability to handle a football. And Tottenham, in all departments, seem to be able to handle a football, same as Liverpool. They don't have guys that want to whack it the furthest way. They're all comfortable with it. And I think we lose that somewhere between 16 and 18, unless the really good guy comes through, and there's not too many good ones that come through that system. I mean, how does it work perhaps in the Spanish situation?
Well, I think it all comes from having heroes. I think kids have heroes. I think in your era you probably saw that type of player and wanted to be that type of player, plus the natural ability you have anyway. And I think that's something that hopefully in this day and age the kids will look up to somebody like Gazza or John Barnes and want to imitate him rather than perhaps the workhorses we've got in the game. And then I think when they do get to professional level, we've got to encourage the skill rather than perhaps just run kids. I mean, I've seen in this country that they don't really do abroad. Kids are run when they leave school, and it's mainly physical work rather than
The funny thing is, when we were saying about earlier, when I was older, at 32, 33, I felt more like doing the Rodney Marshes and the tricks and the step over it, because I thought, well, I'm 33, 34, you know, they can laugh at me, but if it comes off, wow, it's great. So it took me a long time to get the confidence to be able to do that, on a very big platform. I think
the best thing is if a few people watch this video and get together and produce a few more Rodney Marshes and the Peter Osgoods and all the flamboyant players around. I think some mums and dads ought to get this all together and produce a few, because I honestly think, to be truthful with you, that a lot of certain types of players are born. I think there are people that are born natural, that they fight. I mean, the people that we see, Peter Osgood, Stan Bowles, Rodney Marsh, they were classed as rebels. Now, they were rebels in a time anyway, and I suppose people say about Paul Gascoigne, they could look at him as a rebel in today's game. Perhaps there aren't enough rebels around. Perhaps we're getting a bit too conformity about our play and about our way we are. I mean, he was a rebel, Ozzy, without any shadow of doubt. Times we've had to pull him apart from certain coaching staff at Chelsea. Now, that was because he followed the way he went.
I don't know whether any of you will remember this, but in 75-76 season, the FA did try to ban the kissing and cuddling after the scoring of a goal.
Yeah, I had a bad season that year, only scored 5 goals. But no, I don't... I think it's just the way you celebrate, isn't it? I mean, everybody used to say that. Why do footballers go up and kiss? You don't really kiss, you just give each other a hug and that's it. But I don't think you realise until you see it on the telly, to be honest, until you see it replayed. You don't know sort of what your actions are. But that's what strikers do. I mean, that's what we build up all week for.
The kissing and the cuddling?
To score goals, actually, but to score goals, and that's what, and the other lads come up to, and that's what you work on, and they've worked their backsides off to get you in that situation where you do score a goal, and they think that's it. That's what we've worked on.
I always wanted a short person to score because I could actually kiss him, because I kissed his shoulders to his back. Some other places, and they were really tall, was Mickey Droy. Well, I'm not going to tell you where I kissed him. But they just used to go up to me and just pat you on the head.
I am not in love, but I'm open to persuasion. East or west, where's the best for romancing with a friend? I can smile, but with a lover I could hold my head back and really laugh. Thank you. You took me dancing across the floor, cheek to cheek, but with a lover I could really move, really move. I could really dance, really dance, really dance, really dance.
That's it for 75-76 season. We'll be back next week with more great soccer action from the 70s, including a memorable match at Fulham when George Best and Rodney Marsh produced some magic.
The boys are back in town, the boys are back in town. I said, the boys are back in town. 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 Spread the word.